Hello guys, welcome to After the Diary GH. So if you are planning to get married soon, or you know someone who is planning to get married, then I think this very video will help you in planning your wedding. You got to watch this video to the end, and I know you pick one or two ideas that will help you to plan your wedding very well. So on today's episode, our topic is choosing the perfect venue for your wedding. Choosing the perfect venue for your wedding. Today's video or today's episode is inspired by my friend Nanel. Nanel said, after the Diary GH, I'm planning to get married in December 2024, but I don't know whether to choose an indoor wedding or an outdoor wedding for the reception, to be specific. So today our episode is going to be very inspiring. Okay, congratulations Nanel, from all of us in After the Diary GH. From the whole team, we say congratulations to you in advance. Okay, so in choosing the perfect venue for your wedding reception, to be specific, there are certain things you need to consider, and the first thing to consider is the wedding date. As I said in my previous video, that in planning your wedding, the first thing to consider is your wedding date. Because the dates will determine everything. The dates will help you in planning towards your wedding and making it a perfect day for you. So the first thing to consider is the wedding date. So in choosing the perfect venue for your wedding is the wedding date that will help you in choosing the perfect venue for your wedding, the reception, to be specific. Be specific with your wedding date. You need to consider if the dates chosen will be available on your wedding day. You need to be specific with your wedding date. You need to consider if the venue you are choosing will be available on your wedding date. So choosing a perfect wedding venue, you need to consider the dates, because the dates, you need to consider the availability of the venue on your wedding date. Wedding date. Is the site available on your preferred date? If you are considering a garden wedding or outdoor rustic wedding with lots of natural earthly tones, also consider the time of the year and weather challenges. Yes. When it rains, are there additional provisions that will be made? You need to consider all these things in choosing your wedding date, and that will help you in planning or choosing the perfect wedding venue. So you need to consider the time of the year and the season. You know, recently in Ghana, previously we used to have two seasons in Ghana, the dry season and the rainy season. But because of global warming and all that, the seasons have changed. Usually in December it doesn't rain, but last year, December 2023, I know a friend who had a wedding and chose an outdoor event. It was an outdoor event, and the rain destroyed the whole program. It rained throughout. You know, they had to change the venue. Luckily, they had a bigger indoor venue at the same place, and they had to change the venue instantly. And the planner had to, the decorator had to set up the whole place again. In fact, it was devastating, but glory be to God, it all went well. Yeah, so you need to consider the time of the year, whether it's a rainy season or the dry season. Now, the dry, usually in January like this, it's usually dry season, but recently it started raining. So in choosing a perfect venue for your wedding, you need to consider the date. And then also in considering the date, you need to consider whether, if it is an outdoor event, as I said earlier, if you prefer the early, rustic, early natural tone, then you need to make sure that the venue you are choosing have extra provision in case it rains. You need to consider that as well. Secondly, in planning or choosing the perfect venue for your wedding, you need to consider your wedding budget. I think I said all these things in our previous video. So you need to consider your wedding budget. In considering your wedding budget, it will help you whether to choose a venue like a hotel that has an in-house catering that will charge per plate. You need to consider your wedding budget, how much you can afford to spend. You need to consider your wedding budget. That's the second point. How much you can afford to spend. Okay, it is important to recognize that venues with in-house catering like hotels and resorts will charge you per plate in addition to venue high fee. Yeah, we all know that when you are hiring a place for a wedding, it's quite expensive. But hotels, resources, they will, with in-house catering, will charge you in addition to the venue high. So you need to consider that your wedding budget, how much you can afford. If you are working with a limited budget, consider venue that allows external catering and offer similar wedding style. If you are working with a similar budget, consider a venue that offers external catering service but offers the same wedding style. So the wedding budget will also help you in choosing the perfect wedding venue for your big day. The third one is the wedding size. How many people are you planning to host on your wedding day? How many people are you planning to host on your wedding day? The size, because that will help you on which venue to choose. The people you are planning to host on your wedding day will help you the venue to choose. Put together your guests, your list, and how many people will help you at your wedding. Put together all the key party players like the caterers, your family, the family from both sides, the man's side and the woman's side, your friends. And then also, if you are considering having a live band, you need to consider that they will also take up a space. The catering where they will set up, the food where they will set up, you need to consider all these things. So the size of the wedding, how many people you are planning to host will help you to choose the perfect venue for your wedding. Lighting, large dance floors will all eat into your space. So if you are considering having all these things, large dance floor, live band, your catering, the food arena, lighting, they all eat into your space. So you have to consider all these things. That's if you are planning to have all these. You need to consider all this before choosing a venue for your wedding. The fourth one to consider is proximity. Will the ceremony be held in the same space? The wedding and the reception, will they be held in the same space? If not, how far are they from each other? And how easy is it to get there, to get to the venue? So you need to consider proximity. You want to be talking about the driving or walking distance from the ceremony site to the reception site, and from the reception side to the after party. Consider all these things. Also, consider these 3 things: where you are planning to dress up, the ceremony side, the reception side. Consider the road network. Is it easy to get the public transport from the reception ground? You need to consider all these things. You need to consider the road network. Is it easy to get to the reception ground with public transport? Or the road network, is it good? Even if you have your own car, is it okay to be driving on the road to your reception ground? So proximity is also a factor to consider in choosing the perfect wedding venue for your wedding. The last one is the total experience, the experience that people have when they come to your wedding. So I want to ask, if you are planning to have a wedding, you need to consider if the out-town guests are a lot, people coming from afar. You need to consider them. So in considering them, you need to consider if the venue, the reception, is it closer to a hotel or the church? You need to consider Consider a venue that is close to a hotel. Consider how it is to get to and from the venue, and how comfortable it is to get to the venue. How easy it is to find the venue, and how much will it cost to get to the venue. So in considering all these things, that will give your guests the total experience, the total wedding experience. In considering all these things, that will give your guests the total wedding experience. I hope today's video has inspired you one way or the other. I know it's going to help you in planning your wedding soon, or a friend's wedding. Please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share our videos. Don't forget to comment, because all these things means a lot to us. Thank you so much from After the Dowry GH, and we can't wait to give you the very best. Watch out for our next episode, and I know it's going to be one of the best for you in planning your wedding in Ghana. Thank you.